There is a moment, a single moment, that happens to every human being on this planet. It doesn't happen on a battlefield. It doesn't happen on a racetrack. It doesn't happen in a gym. It happens in the silence, in the dark, when no one is watching, when no one is cheering, when every single cell in your body is screaming at you to stop. And in that moment, you find out who you really are. Not who you think you are, not who you tell people you are, who you really are. Most people never find out, because most people run from that moment. They avoid it. They distract themselves from it. They medicate it. They scroll past it. But there was one man who didn't just face that moment. He lived inside it every single day.
And what came out on the other side was not human. Or at least, it shouldn't be. His name is David Goggins. And by the end of this video, you will never look at your own life the same way again. I promise you that. Chapter 1. The Boy Who Was Never Supposed to Survive.
Close your eyes for a second. Imagine being 5 years old. Imagine your bedroom is not safe. Imagine that the sounds coming through the walls at night are not the TV. They're screaming, breaking glass, and the sound no child should ever hear. The sound of their mother being hurt. That was David Goggins' house. That was David Goggins' childhood. His father wasn't just absent. He was a predator. A man who controlled his family through violence, who forced his children to work in his business while he beat their mother in the back room. By the age of 8, David already knew something most adults spend their whole lives trying to forget. The world is not fair, and no one is coming to save you. When his mother finally escaped, she took her boys and ran. No money, no plan, no safety net. They landed in a small town in Indiana, and that's where the second chapter of pain began. Because in that small town, a black family in the wrong neighborhood was not welcome. He was mocked. He was targeted.
There were death threats, real ones. He started losing his hair from stress. He started stuttering. He developed a skin condition from the anxiety. And I want you to think about something for a second. Think about the hardest thing you went through as a kid, the thing that still echoes, the thing you don't talk about at dinner. Now multiply that every single day for years, with no escape, no one to call, no therapist, no hotline. Just a boy and the weight of a world that didn't want him. And here's what that does to a person. Here's what it really does. It doesn't make you strong, not at first. It makes you invisible. You stop believing your voice matters. You stop believing you matter. You build walls so thick that eventually you can't even find yourself behind them.
Chapter 2. The Abyss. By his early 20s, David Goggins had become everything his past had built him to be. Invisible, nearly 300 pounds, working a night shift job, exterminating cockroaches, coming home alone, eating to fill a hole that food could never fill. He had started and quit the Air Force. He had dreams, but dreams don't survive when shame is louder. And then one night, was sitting in his kitchen, killing roaches, watching a documentary on Navy SEALs, and something cracked open inside him. Not inspiration. Don't romanticize it. It wasn't some beautiful cinematic moment. It was more like disgust. A deep, nauseating disgust with the distance between who he was and who he knew he could be. He looked in the mirror that night, and for the first time in his life, he didn't look away. When was the last time you looked in the mirror and didn't look away? When was the last time you stood there without the filter, without the excuse, without the story you tell yourself about why things are the way they are? That night, David Goggins made a decision.
Not a goal, a decision. There's a difference. Goals are things you want. Decisions are things you become. He decided to become a Navy SEAL. Let me put that into perspective for you. Navy SEAL training has a dropout rate of over 75%. These are elite athletes, trained warriors, men who have been preparing their entire lives. David Goggins couldn't run a mile. He was nearly 300 pounds. He had less than 3 months to qualify. The doctors told him it was impossible. He heard something else. He heard a challenge. Chapter 3: Declaring War. What happened next defies logic. Every single day, multiple workouts, rain, snow, darkness, didn't matter. He ran until his feet bled. He swam in frozen pools. He ate almost nothing. He slept almost nothing. In less than 3 months, he lost 106 pounds. 106 pounds in less than 90 days. Not through a diet plan, not through a program, through sheer, violent, relentless will. But losing the weight was the easy part, because now he had to survive Hell Week. 5.5 days, with roughly 4 hours of sleep total. You are wet, you are cold. Your body stops being yours. It becomes a stranger, a failing machine, a thing that just hurts. Candidates hallucinate. They fall asleep mid-exercise. They cry without knowing why. They beg. Strong men, built men, men who thought they were ready. Ring the bell. Go home. It's designed to break you. And it did break David Goggins. The first time. He got injured, was pulled from training, had to start over. So he did. Second attempt. Broken again. Severe pneumonia. Pulled from training again. Most people would have taken that as a sign. The universe is telling me something. Goggins took it as information. Third attempt, he finished. Not in the top of his class, not breaking records, just finishing. And that was enough. For now. Chapter 4: The Race That Should Have Killed Him. Now a Navy SEAL, David Goggins was about to do something that even his own teammates thought was insane. He signed up for a 100-mile ultramarathon with almost no preparation, with zero experience in long-distance racing, with a body that had already been through 3 rounds of Hell Week. Why? Because he wanted to raise money for the families of fallen SEALs, and because no one thought he could. The race was called the Badwater Ultramarathon, 100 miles through Death Valley in 120-degree heat. By mile 70, his body was shutting down. Not slowing down, shutting down. Both feet had stress fractures. His knees were swollen to the size of softballs.
His kidneys were failing. He was urinating blood. He crawled to a medical tent. The doctors told him he needed to stop. He taped his feet, he stood up, and he kept going. Let me stop here for a second. I need you to really feel this. His kidneys were failing. He was bleeding internally. He couldn't walk. And he chose to keep going. Not because it was smart, not because it was rational, because somewhere inside him, there was a boy, a broken boy, a boy who had been told his whole life that he was nothing. And that boy was not done proving the world wrong. Step by step, inch by inch, through pain that doesn't have a name, he crossed the finish line and finished 5th place in his first ultramarathon ever, with a broken body and no preparation. 5th place.
Chapter 5. The Truth They Never Taught You.
After everything, after the Navy SEALs, after the ultramarathons, after breaking the world pull-up record, after running races that destroyed trained athletes, David Goggins discovered something. Something that the scientists eventually confirmed. Something that elite military psychologists studied. When your mind tells you that you're done, when your body says it can't go any further, you are at 40% of your actual capacity. 40%. That voice that says stop, it's a liar. It's not protecting you from death. It's protecting you from discomfort. And there is a massive difference. Think about the last time you gave up on something. The project you abandoned. The conversation you avoided.
The dream you buried. The morning you hit snooze instead of showing up. What if you weren't done? What if you were just at 40%? What if the entire story you've been telling yourself about your limits, about what you're capable of, about how much you can handle is based on 40% of the truth? That thought should terrify you, because it means more than half of who you could be is still locked inside you, waiting. Not for the right moment, not for the right conditions, for a decision. Remember what I asked you at the beginning? That moment, in the silence, in the dark, when everything inside you screams, stop. That's the moment that defines you. Not your talent, not your genetics, not your past, not your circumstances. What you do in that moment. David Goggins came from abuse, from poverty, from racism, from a body that worked against him, from a mind that had been broken 100 times over. And he became the hardest man alive. Not the most talented, not the most gifted, not the luckiest, the most willing. Willing to suffer, willing to fail, willing to come back again and again and again. And here's the thing that nobody tells you. That willingness is not a gift. It's a choice. So the question is not about David Goggins anymore. The question is about you. What is your 100-mile race? What is your hell week? What is the thing you keep avoiding because some part of you is not sure you can survive it? Because you can. You can. Not because I said so, not because it will be comfortable, but because the proof is standing right in front of you. A boy who was beaten, who was told he was nothing, who weighed 300 pounds, who couldn't run, who failed and failed again and again and refused
to accept the story the world wrote for him. So the next time your mind says stop, remember, you are not even halfway there. Greatness is not in the ones who never fall. It's in the ones who always get back up.